Eu acho que o filme se explica a si próprio. Isto partiu tudo de um telefonema do Tiago. Isto foi uma coisa produzida por uma entidade chamada Rede Cultural Terras da Chanfana. Isto por 4 municípios do centro: Miranda do Corvo, Poiares, Penela e Lausanne. Como tantos outros municípios, inventaram uma marca para, através dessa marca, poderem ir buscar dinheiros comunitários. A história é sempre a mesma, não tem nada de novo. Mas depois, um bocadinho ao engano, acharam que o melhor que eles podiam fazer era, efetivamente, alocar dinheiro a um filme que servisse como um postal ilustrado da região. Só que depois falaram com o Tiago e enganaram-se. E o Tiago falou comigo e enganou-se ainda mais. E não nos saiu, e obviamente não nos saiu nada disso. Mas pronto, basicamente foi isso. E depois é aquilo que eu digo no próprio filme, que é como é que tu contas a história de um território. O exercício foi mesmo esse, foi entrar na casa das pessoas e foi, como em qualquer documentário, estar aberto ao que viesse. Ou seja, nunca fui para a casa de ninguém à espera de eu quero fazer aquele plano da velhinha, não sei, nem sequer sabia se eram velhas, se não eram, se efetivamente faziam os seus afazeres segundo a tradição ou não. E a ideia foi exatamente essa, foi estar presente e gravar o máximo possível daquilo que os outros nos davam a nós e depois com isso construir uma narrativa ou um propósito.
E foi como é que é filmar em Portugal? Uma vez que é o nome desta sessão...
Como é que é filmar em Portugal?
Tendo em conta os territórios que temos, as pessoas, os
Sim.
meios que temos, os apoios...
Portugal tem coisas excelentes para filmar. Temos cerca de, não no país todo, mas diria que temos uma média de pelo menos 250 dias de sol por ano. E temos uma multiplitude de cenários que ajudam muito a tu poderes alocar a produção às tuas necessidades com custos reduzidos e com viagens curtas. Falta todo o outro lado. Depois temos, fruto de uma indústria muito grande de publicidade, temos equipas e materiais de primeira ordem, tanto em termos de know-how como em termos de recursos técnicos. Não nos falta nada e não estamos nada à frente de nenhuma outra indústria no mundo. Depois falta-nos, obviamente, todo o lado do financiamento, que não existe, é inexistente. Esta longa foi feita com muito amor e carinho e muito, muito pouco dinheiro. Mas é isso, e é assim que funciona muito desta indústria. Ou seja, porque é que eu posso fazer isto? Eu posso fazer isto porque não vivo disto. E porque me posso dar ao luxo de tirar 2 meses da minha vida e fazer isto. Mas para que isso aconteça, toda a indústria da publicidade paga os meus restantes 10 meses do ano. E é muito nesta onda de carolice e de amigos que se apoiam uns aos outros e que se apoiam nos recursos uns dos outros é que as coisas são feitas. E depois também existe um mercado de vaidades e depois também existe uma data de coisas que também não facilitam, não é? Porque o pouco dinheiro que existe também está muito mal distribuído, está controlado por um lobby, etc, etc, etc. Mas sim, eu acho que Portugal tem tudo para ser um país com uma produção muito mais desenvolvida. Não tecnicamente, mas em termos de números, sim, muito mais desenvolvida.
Alguém quer fazer alguma pergunta aqui ao António, a propósito do filme ou a propósito desta questão de como é que é filmar em Portugal?
Sure, go ahead. Right, no, not at all. The whole thing started because the producer, his name is Tiago, he's like a very well-known figure in the country. He runs this project that's been going on for decades called Música Portuguesa a Gostar de Si Própria, the Portuguese music liking itself. And so basically he used to live in Lisbon, but because he's like recording people all over the country from north to south, he decided to relocate in the center. And that's why he eventually ended up living in this part of the country. And then he knew my work, and one day, very randomly so, I got a call, and he was asking me if I would be able to come over and shoot this for him. And that was it. And between that call and me being on the field recording, it went on, I don't know, like a month and a half of us talking every week. And I kept on asking, but what is this film about? And it was like, chill, don't worry about it, we'll talk about it later. And it went on it went on up until the very last night before we started shooting, where I had to sit him down, because like he's all over the place all the time, and I had to sit him down and listen, I'm not starting to shoot anything tomorrow if I'm not aware of what the hell I'm shooting and what I'm doing. And then we talked a little bit about it, but there was also no, like, he didn't have like a specific idea of what he wanted. He wanted to do something about the center of the country and a portrait of the center of the country. But there was no storyline. The only thing he knew was the people there. And he had the means to, you know, call them and get us to their places. And that was it. And he was good enough to give me an extra camera and an extra camera operator, so that there would be two of us and a microphone. Now deal with it. And that's part of the reason why the whole thing looks so messy all the time, was because like we literally shot it in 7 days, and it was, you know, like we had to be running every single time. It was like, oh, I just met this person, I have 20 minutes with her, now we have to go, but okay, fine, whatever. That was it for 7 days. Yeah.
An image that suggests you what some of the reports, the narrative of the work. So how many times did you spend?
Right. So before I was a director, I built a career as a senior offline editor, and then I lived abroad doing so for 4 or 5 years before coming back to Portugal and focusing on directing only. Although I still, I was just saying, in Portuguese, I make a living doing commercials, and I still edit all of my work. So it's something that, you know, it's very natural to me, and it comes even before the directing. Even when I'm shooting, I'm already editing, because like, oh, I know that I need this shot and that shot to make this scene complete. So in that sense, you know, I don't lose that much time in the editing room, but neither did I have time to lose, because the shoot got postponed. We were supposed to shoot it in June. We ended up shooting in the first half of August, and I had only up until the end of September for it to be premiered at Doc Lisbon. So all editing, apart from grading and sound mixing, took me roughly 5 weeks. Yeah. There was not enough time or money or nothing. True, but it also takes training. As I said, like I built a career based on being an editor, and that's what editors do. Oh, there's 3 magnificent shots. We only have time for one. This one. Done. And sometimes, you cannot really lose that much time or effort thinking whether or not I made the right choice, because it will only come back to you way later. Like every time I watch the movie now, I would have done this and that differently. But that, like if on an ideal world, we would do a first cut, and then we would go do something else, go back to it 2 months later and tweak it here and there, and we would take about a year to wrap it up until we done like all the changes that we would like to be doing. But even so, I'm pretty convinced that a year down the road, I would watch it, missed it. Even like even while editing for a year, I would have missed it anyway.
But would it be like, I don't know, I feel like every creative process
Sure.
watching it in the place that you are now makes you question, oh, I should film that. I would like to film from here instead of there. I don't know.
Sure, of course. Like that's exactly what I was saying. It doesn't matter how much time you have to do it. Of course, it's always good to have a little bit more time, but it doesn't matter. By the time you wrapped it, once you rewatch it, you would do this and that differently. So, to me, my philosophy when it comes to that is there's not like one single movie of mine that I actually like. But I believe that's a good thing. You know, I'm always kind of like focusing on the next one. Eventually, one day, I won't mess it up, but you know. I don't believe in perfection per se, but I believe that perfection is like a religion or an ideology. You know, it's the same thing as me saying that ideology-wise, I would say that I would be a communist, but it doesn't apply to the real world. I would hate to live in a communist country. So it's kind of the same thing. Perfection, to have it in mind as a goal, is something good. To get into depression because you're not perfect, you know, that's the tricky part. You just don't want to go down that route.
Your philosophy about accepting that you don't like your movies, but
Exactly. I mean, if not even Stanley Kubrick liked these movies, how could I like mine? It's like